Okay, today we are going to do a lesson on Photoshop, on basic editing for cropping. We're going to do the dodge tool, saturation tool, marquee tool. So let's go ahead and get started. Go ahead from the class webpage, open up the window file. It's called window. There's a Photoshop file and a directions. So if you fall behind, you can always refer to the directions. It's like detail step by step. First of all, let's talk about resolution and image size. What's the difference between resolution and image size?
Resolution is how clear it is.
Okay, so Andy said resolution is how clear it is, whereas image size is how big or how small it is. Now, if you noticed, what are these called? These little squares. Yes, these are called pixels. Same thing on your computer screen. We see kind of like dots of color, and then together they form an image. Okay, so basically, you guys know on your digital cameras, if it says 10 megapixel, I mean that's fairly good right now for compact digital cameras. That means there's more pixels. That means these squares are small and they're dense, and so they're going to be more clear and more fine. But if you take something in like 2 or 1 megapixel, the squares are larger and they're going to be less clear and more pixelated. Image size is just resizing the image, whereas resolution is the pixels and how the quality is. So you could have a small image, but it's very good resolution and very good pixels, and vice versa. Okay, high resolution is 300 ppi or higher. So just make a note of that if you're going to be printing something. But generally, the computer doesn't read that high, so you only need to use maybe 72 or 100. All right, let's go ahead and do some photo correction. So this is what we're going to be doing. You're going to be using the Marquee Tool. You're going to draw a box around the window. We're going to be rotating it, resizing it, and then cropping it. So let's go ahead and do that. So I have my Photoshop file here. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. On the bottom left-hand corner, there's what percentage it is. So notice 100%, it's kind of small. So I'm going to move it up maybe to 200% so I can see a little bit better. Now it's a little bit too big, so let's go 150. I'm going to go last one, 125. There you go, perfect, 125. So, using the marquee, if you press the letter M on your keyboard, it'll automatically select the marquee. Some people refer to this as the marching ants. This is used to select things. So go ahead, draw a box around your image. And if you use the move tool, you can like move it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Jeremy says that's awesome. But we're not going to be moving it right now, so hit Command Z to undo. To get rid of those marching ants, our marquee is Command D as deselect. We're going to go to our crop tool. Our crop tool looks like this. Or you can hit C, shortcut, to crop. Draw a box around the picture. We're going to move your mouse to the corner and then rotate it so it's at the same angle. Then you're going to resize it according to the picture. And notice I'm a little bit off, so I'm going to tilt it again one more time. Resize. And I'm pretty good. So after you cropped it, or selected the area you want to crop, you go to Image and Crop. After you go to Image Crop, it'll automatically go to this direction.
I did tilt it.
The question was, how do you tilt it? Well, it'll automatically do it for you. Again, make sure you just go to Crop, draw a square around the picture, Make sure this arrow has a double arrow. Rotate it over. And then resize it. Make sure there's no white. And image crop. And it automatically straightens it. Okay, let's keep going. If you didn't get that, you can come back to that at the end. Okay, next. We're going to replace the color. Actually, we're going to auto adjust the color. Go ahead and go to Image, Adjustments, and Auto Color. After you click on that, it'll brighten up the image. It'll automatically find a good balance where the picture should be. So go ahead and do that. You'll notice it's nicer. Now, window curtains, they're usually faded, like faded off-white because of the sun. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to go ahead and use the Dodge tool. The Dodge tool looks like a lollipop. Actually, I had a cherry lollipop Tootsie Roll last night. How many licks does it take to get to the center of the Tootsie Roll pop? Okay, make sure your range is in highlights. Change the exposure. 50% is fine. The higher the exposure, the lighter it's going to get. Then drag your mouse. Now notice there's a circle. This is called a brush. It's a Dodge brush. We can change the size of the brush simply by either going to the top left and choosing the brush and choosing the diameter. You can also change the hardness if you need to. But I like to use shortcuts. On the keyboard, to the right of the letter P, as in Paul, you're going to use the left and right brackets. Left is going smaller, right bracket is going larger.
Oh, cool.
So make sure that you practice this and do this right now, because this is a very essential step you'll be using a lot, almost every day if you use Photoshop. So use those brackets to smaller and higher or larger. Go ahead and make some highlights on your window so that it looks more faded on the edges. Okay? So now it's more faded. Now these flowers, they're red, but they look kind of dull. Do you guys know what saturation means? What is saturation? Basically, if something has zero saturation, what color is it? Yeah, it's black and white. Zero saturation or desaturation is black and white. So what do you think 100% saturation is?
Color.
Yeah, like bright, vibrant colors that really pop out. So let's go ahead, hold down your Dodge tool, and you'll have an option that brings up a few other tools. Let's use a sponge tool. Not like SpongeBob SquarePants, but the sponge tool that we're going to use to saturate. So make sure the mode is saturate, not desaturate. Flow, we'll keep that at 85%. You can go ahead and make your brush kind of large, and then just go ahead and hold down the mouse button and color in your flowers. And notice it's getting brighter, right?
Oh, that's cool.
So that's saturation. So the rest of the photograph is not saturated, but only what we're highlighting is being saturated.
Where's the saturation?
So again, that's sponge tool and saturate 85% and highlight.